I just have so much room. Like, I don't know what to do with all of this room. Like, do I go back here, but I can run up here too? Hello DIY friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danie and this is part 2 of my DIY kitchen transformation extravaganza. If you have not seen part 1 yet, stop now, click the link in my description box and watch the first part of this refresh. Or maybe you're just feeling like you want to skip to the end and know that the hero makes it through the blazing fire and slays the dragon after an epic battle of home versus DIYer. Then welcome, nice to have you here. Stay a while. That was creepy. The hand that makes that creepy. Let's put that down. Of course, this is all part of my series, Homemade Home, where I take you on my journey to DIY and make over my 150-year-old plus farmhouse into a home that I love. So in part 1, I prepped and painted all the cabinets in my kitchen with the brand new Behr paint line called Dynasty in the color Cracked Pepper. Oh yes, we went dark and we went bold. As a follow-up to that paint after a few weeks, Behr was not lying about the durability of that paint. Like, if paint had a final form, this would be it. And that is the only way I know how to explain this. The test was not on purpose, but it happened. So we're gonna talk about it. But before we get into it, if you are not already subscribed to this wonderful creative community, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We got more DIY, home inspiration, thrift flips, nerdy finds, and you don't wanna miss out. But with that said, it is time to close this chapter on the kitchen refresh. So let's jump in. Editor, roll the tape. Boop. DIY friends, it is day 1 of demo. This video is going to be focusing on the countertop, the new sink that's going in, and then all the extra little DIYs that are going to make this kitchen super special. This countertop is going to be quite the undertaking, and obviously I can't do it alone. Most of the demo work on the countertop in the island is gonna be done when Jeff gets home from work. So I just have to fill my time doing all the other DIY stuff in the day. In the meantime, I have made a plan. So let me walk you over to my demo plan. On my board, let me show you. Step 1, we have to remove the faucet. Step 2, we unhook the drain. We have to remove the sink. We gotta remove the tile. Step 5, unscrew the countertop. Step 6, cut frame out of the bottom, fit the sink, build sink support box, create stencil. Template, I meant to say template, but I wrote stencil. So number 10, this is dyslexia at its best. Join and fit countertop. Cut sink hole. Install sink and plumbing. Step 13, enjoy new kitchen. Just kidding. Step 14, stain and finish countertop. Okay, now enjoy. Now in the meantime, I have emptied everything out of the island here that normally lives under the sink. Who lives in a cabinet under the sink? All my kitchen stuff. That didn't work as well as I wanted it to. At this point, I'm just gonna start prepping the floors, making sure everything's good, and then we go hard. We go hard into the demo. I should not spend time alone. Don't get me wrong, I am a strong, independent woman. I can tear down walls. I can do a lot of home reno myself, but removing heavy sinks and plumbing, not today. But overall, my goal was to remove that tile top that currently existed on the island, and I want to replace it with a beautiful butcher block top and remove the current water-stained old black sink and replace it with a lovely farmhouse one. It has been my dream to have a front-facing farmhouse sink. I don't care what happens with the countertop, I just wanted my front-facing farmhouse sink. That is it. Now, the back counter also has a tiled top, but I haven't really decided what should be there yet, so I'm going to leave that tile piece for now. You know, with the painted trim, it's actually like not so bad there, but after you guys see the final kitchen, you should all weigh in on what material I should go with in the back. I'm kind of leaning towards a white quartz stone top, but I'm not married to anything yet, so let me know after you see this. Changing the island is definitely my focus for now, and I know it is going to drastically change the look of this kitchen. So in the words of my favorite movie,
small moves, Ellie, small moves.
The end of the day did come, and Jeff and I finally got started on the island demo. First up, removing the faucet. think it was growing in the tile, like in between the tile, like underneath it, in between things. So where we're just eating food, there's just like a collection of spiders just living their lives, doing their thing.
Probably not.
Well, you can get the drain hole if you see it
Oh,
from where you are.
it looks like a great job.
What drain hole? Oh, that drain hole. Oh, I'm putting gloves on. Did I get it?
Yeah. The other one's worse though.
Oh, it's like dangling.
Still some dingleberries left there.
Listen, I am only showing you this because this is the reality of home DIY. There is no glossy version. This is what you get. This is real life stuff here. Oh gosh, I'm so strong.
So strong.
So strong. It was so good to see that tile go. And then there was like a surrounding trim that had to be removed, then the tile layer underneath, but underneath the layer, there was concrete, and then there was particle board. So all around, it was just very messy. So it turns out getting the tile off of that island didn't suck as much as I expected it to, but what did suck was getting the tile out of the house. And here we are removing it. Struggling, still struggling, and then see the wall to my right, and there it gets scraped up. Yep, there goes the paint, yes. On the bright side though, particle board, very light, much easier to remove. Da, 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 da. Boop. Okay, so in order for the sink to be a front-facing sink and to properly fit into this box, I have this drawer in the front here that's gotta go. So we're gonna take the Sawzall, which is the reciprocating saw, and we're basically just going to chop off this entire piece to the top of this cabinet right here. Yes, I did paint a front for no reason. I already knew we were gonna be doing this, but I was like, I just wanted the beauties to be nice for part one. So we're gonna remove this and keep going. Now, we ended up fitting the sink into the space afterwards, but I didn't realize that the cameras weren't running. I'm a very good content creator, but I do want to show you all the sink. This beautiful specimen is made by a brand called VIGO. It is their single bowl farmhouse sink offered through the Home Depot Canada. Thank you, Home Depot Canada, for bringing this into my home. It has a 9 5/8 inch bowl depth. It is 30 by 18 inch exterior. It is pure acrylic and has a reversible slotted apron front. It is literally a dream sink, and I cannot wait to see it in place, but we have a lot of work to do before we can get there. So let's get to day 2. Good morning, DIY friends. So the kitchen is currently at a standstill. I'm actually shocked how much we got done yesterday. We are way ahead of schedule, which is great, but I shouldn't jinx it. So we're gonna build the box later, but while I wait for him to get home, I am going to start working on a few DIYs, including these 2 stools down here. I've actually had these stools for such a long time. I absolutely love them, but I wanna give them a little facelift to match the new kitchen direction, which I'm very excited about. Yesterday, moving out all of the tile top pieces from the island. This ended up getting hurt, but this part here, when I painted with the new Bear Dynasty, didn't even scratch. It literally is like still good to go. I'm like really shocked. So anyways, I just wanted to highlight that. I was very impressed. Hopefully we can get this kitchen under wraps pretty soon. We are ahead of schedule. In the meantime, I have a few DIYs to handle, so let's go do it. So in the previous day, I did some spray paint testing because how nice would it be to give the metal part on these stools a nice new copper finish? Make it feel very aligned with the new look of the kitchen. I've never actually spray painted anything copper before, which I realize is like a crazy thing to say for me. So I ended up purchasing 2 different colors to test before I actually put it onto my stool. So I picked up this aged copper and then this richer copper color, but it came in a hammered look. It just gives a bit of a textured finish. Turns out it is just really hard to find like just copper. But I figured let's test them. So I did that on a scrap metal piece and waited for it to completely dry. So as you can see, the hammered copper has a much more rich copper look, but it is very textured. Like you see that like hammered look on it. And then this one is the aged copper. So I don't know. I think I'm definitely going to go for the hammered copper. I don't really want the hammered look, but I think it is going to be the right color that I want. So what I need to do is start deconstructing both of these pieces, clean this whole thing down, and then we can prep it for painting. Bangarang, let's go!
Go ahead and call me a cynic, but some things just won't last. The hours turns into minutes. The worst is yet to come. Summer.
I was making sure to do light, even coats when going onto these stools. I didn't force it, which meant they did require multiple coats to be done throughout the day, but it was definitely worth it. And while I waited for those to dry, I got started on my stool tops, removing the existing top coat and stain. Then using a little wood glue, putting Humpty Dumpty back together again and clamped them tight.
They're in it for blood, losing color. Go ahead and call me a cynic.
And let's not forget about my scratched up wall. I also used my day to sand any scuffed up spots on my wall, and I gave it a fresh coat of paint. Brand spanking new. At that point, enough time had passed and my stool tops were dry, so I sanded down any icky parts from glue spill out and stained them using the stain color Early American, which ended up looking way more red than I expected, so I added a little dark walnut to the mix. But just to be clear, even adding the dark walnut, it still wasn't the right color. Honestly, I don't even know why I stained it that day. I knew I should have waited because I wanted to figure out what was gonna go on my butcher block top, but I didn't, and here we are.
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
So I put that aside and I got to work on prepping all the wood Jeff and I were going to need to build the sink stand later that night. Luckily, I had a bunch of 2x4 pieces left over from my She-Shack makeover, so I took these apart, got measuring the sink area, cut up some other wood pieces into smaller pieces, and next thing I knew, Jeff was home and we had a sink brace built. Easy peasy, my friends, and a sink has a stand now. And from there, we just made a stencil of the sink. And that was it really for the day. I just painted these walls. Day 3 of DIY fun, and it was officially countertop day. The butcher block top I went with was from Hardwood Reflections. It was a European ash, which can also be sourced at the Home Depot Canada, which I'd like to give a big shout out and thanks to for providing me with this beautiful product. This walnut top is a slow growth, close grain hardwood. It is durable and has a similar kind of physical qualities to an oak wood. It cuts well, it stains well, and it is just so beautiful. Now I got 2 cuts, one that was 74 by 25 and one that was 74 by 39. First step though was to figure out how we wanted these pieces to work for our new setup. Did we like the setup area? How much space would we need to do this? What kind of corner did we want? There were a lot of decisions to be made. So we started with the shorter piece because we realized this was going to require more cuts. Due to the nature of the butcher block top, we can't just butt up 2 pieces and let it be. It would look very off if you have 2 wood grains going in different directions. So there were 2 options we could do. We could cut both pieces at a 45-degree angle and just meet in the middle, or we can turn the small piece into several cuts and then do like one big glue up. Off to the she shack we go. Now, Jeff and I chose to do a glue up. We kind of both felt like this was the lesser of two headaches in the long run, and it could give us the overhang we wanted on each side of the counter. So after both pieces were cut, we had this beautiful new countertop. This is what I love about Butcher Block because of the nature of the wood. It already has different wood tones and lines in the grain, so hiding a glue up becomes very easy, especially for amateur DIYers like myself, you know? And the best part was that I had some cut-off pieces now that I could create some cool cutting boards out of. Okay, do something.
I love you, think I love you badly. You're such a dollar, but you'd never hurt me. We'd be a jet, never end. I don't wanna be a friend. Think I love you early.
You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. So the longer piece had to be dealt with inside. It was just too big and too heavy to be moving around a lot. And that was right after I had officially just cleaned my entire kitchen from dust, dirt, and debris from the week before. Love that for me. But it was the right call, and we just attempted to use the shop vac wherever we could. First cut was easy using the other circular saw rip guide that I had. Then came the decision, how did we want the corner to look? We drew so many lines on that thing, and like everything just looked weird because of the shape and how offset it was. So I finally just suggested that we arch it. Let's just do a nice curve around the corner, which ultimately looked the most seamless, I think. So I got my giant woodworking compass. This thing is so handy, friends, and we just mapped out a solid curve on the wood top. Look at that line, it's so curved. Ooh. Then I simply cut it out using my jiggity saw. To get the best cut possible, I opted to start in the middle and work my way outward. The jig blade has a tendency to flex a little bit, especially if you start the blade at a weird angle. So I try to avoid that by starting in the center and just cutting outward. Job.
It's not your dinner time yet. No, it's not. I know you think it's your dinner time always.
He's so deprived. Screw one going in.
Yep.
Look at that. In the morning, we had 2 rectangular pieces of wood, and by the end of the day, we had a beautiful tabletop. Now, as a last task of my day, I wanted to take a scrap piece from our tabletop and test out 2 oil finishes, a Danish and a tung oil. What I wanted to know was, how was the oil going to react on the Butcher Block? What kind of yellow tone would it leave afterwards? Because every finish reacts differently to each wood type, so I always test on a scrap piece of wood, and if you don't know, I highly suggest doing the same thing. Both tung oil and a Danish oil are great options for Butcher Block tops. It's sort of hard to see on camera here, but the tung oil did leave a bit of a richer look, and it's known to have a bit more durability, so I did opt to move forward with the tung oil. Actually, just for knowledge, the Farmhouse table I have in my kitchen, it gets a coat of Danish oil every 6 months. It just keeps the table safe from stains. It brings the hydration back into it. It's kind of like the equivalent of giving your table a haircut. I don't know if that analogy really works, but I thought it might. Day 4 was a scary day. It was time to fit the sink into place and cut into my beautiful new butcher block top. First things first, we had to tweak the entire table and make sure it was positioned exactly where we wanted it to be so that we could get it secured into the base. I also worked on sanding out that glue up, just giving that connection some love to ensure it would never be seen. We then got the sink in place and carefully determined its position. This actually took some time. We had to use levels and squares just to make sure we were using some level of accuracy. And once we had that in place, I traced the sink. Okay, so about to take a jigsaw and I'm about to officially cut the countertop. I feel totally cool and confident that I can do this, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So to make the cut easier, we used a hole saw on the corners and from there cut the slab out. At that point, it was just a lot of sanding, both on the tabletop. Again, I worked through the grits and give it the best, softest, smoothest finish. And then both Jeff and I tag team sanding down the interior where the sink would fit in, just to make sure that it would fit in nice and snug. To be clear, it didn't. Not at all. We did eventually get it to a point where we could use a soft mallet to tap it into its final resting place. We then cut a hole for our faucet. Definitely a smoke show to get through that hardwood, my goodness. And by the end of the day, we finally had a functional sink again. I can wash my hands! I think the thing I loved the most about this sink was just how comfortable it was to stand up to it. Like, it is the perfect height that made washing dishes so comfortable. Like, I don't know how to explain that. You're not like bending your back over to really clean dishes. Like, it was just, it's magic. And later that night, it was finally time to install my new antique light that I thrifted for $8, may I add. Earlier that week, we had installed a box in our ceiling to accommodate such a light, and now all I had to do was just install it and finally enjoy its beauty. And as a last tiring step to the day, I added the first coat of tung oil, and boy, did it bring out the beauty in that slab. Woo! Good morning, dear my friends. I am so excited because this kitchen is finally back into like working order. This countertop, does she not look beautiful or what? The tung oil is really good because it's deep, it penetrates the wood. However, I didn't want that to be the finishing color. So come over here, my friends. Let me walk you into my staining testing corner. What's nice about the tung oil is that it gives it a nice yellow base, and then any stain that sits on top of it, now it must be oil based, that's a key factor here. It kind of gives it a yellow undertone, which is perfect for what I'm looking for. I've tested on Puritan Pine. This is Special Walnut. This is the gel stain. Dark Walnut. This is Early American, and Dark Walnut on a non-gel stain. I think I'm leaning towards, obviously, like the Dark Walnut looks amazing. Special Walnut is right. I think the Special Walnut is like literally the perfect compromise. I mean, you guys know I'm a Special Walnut fan. It's the perfect color. It's the perfect color, and I love it so much. I think it's what I want to go with. And then after I'm done this, I'm going to show you guys something so exciting, which is my in-person mood board with all the things that I have purchased for this kitchen. I literally cannot wait. Let's get staining, and then we'll get to the exciting part. Staining that top was 100% the right decision. Honestly, it just warmed up the entire kitchen so much, and it complemented that cracked pepper paint. It was just like, everything just felt right, and I loved it. Okay, friends, we are finally, well, almost at the stage of bringing it all together. A lot has happened, a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. Well, no blood, but sweat and tears for sure. And I just want to like celebrate it by like looking at all the decorated elements that are going to go into this kitchen, because I think that is the most fun when you are renovating, when you get to see all the little bits and bobs that like make the room have some personality. Starting on the left side of the table, we have two prints. This is from North Prints on Etsy. Love these two pieces. They literally cost me $6.99 for both, and I had them printed at my local print shop, and I have a beautiful thrifted frame here. I'm leaning towards this for fall and maybe transition into this in the summer. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll just put one behind the other and then switch them out. Unclear. Then I have this beautiful little brass piece. Now my mom got this for me. She thrifted this and gave it to me for my kitchen. I'm obsessed. So I have some brass pieces with dried florals, always. One thing that I really love is red glass. Having like little red pops everywhere is kind of like a thing. I also have it in my kitchen up here too. I just love the pop of red. It's just, I don't know. It's my style. It's what I like. So we're bringing in some pops of red. We have some mixed wood tones up here. I got this from Indigo. Popped in a little brass piece here just to see against the wood, which I love. I have my copper bowl. This bowl I thrifted, and this is actually the bowl that gave me the inspiration for the copper lights above my island. And then I'm bringing in some more natural tones, this beautiful green. Oh, there's another cutting board in the back here. This a beautiful wood cutting board. This is also from Indigo. I got all of these bowls and this giant bowl for $6. Look at that, not even lying. I don't know why I would lie. You're gonna understand why it's beautiful once we get that way. Ooh, I found this at an antique market one morning with my mom. It was just a little tiny guy. I got this for $10. You know, it's like a little washboard. It's pretty cliche for a farmhouse feel, but I love it to pieces. Again, bringing in a lot of these kind of like terracotta rusty colors, especially with the amber glass too. Guys, we have got to talk about these. So I actually got these at Indigo as well through their We line. This is their stoneware. This was my gift to myself. So I got 4 little plates, 4 big plates, and 4 bowls. It wasn't cheap, I'm not gonna lie, but it was my gift to myself. And if you want to gift yourself something too, then I will link them down below. So these guys also came over from the We line. I'm just obsessed with it right now. I just love it. And we have some eucalyptus, some fresh eucalyptus, which is making my house smell mint right now. Well, not mint, it's making it smell eucalyptus, but you know what I mean. Oh, and then I popped in this piece. So this piece actually came from IKEA. It's one of my favorite from there. It's just, I like the pop of blue against all these other colors, and I'm definitely not afraid to play with color. So I think, you know, don't be afraid to mix and match some pieces because you are beautiful. But all of this is just like gets me very giddy, very excited to bring it all together, bring it into the kitchen, and then see it all together. It's just gonna be amazing. But I'm gonna stop talking because I got some work to do. I need to go fix the stool tops, and that's gonna take some time. So let's get DIYing. So after seeing the warm stain top now, I knew I had to go a similar route with the stool top. So I ended up sanding down the original stain, and instead I just applied a beautiful tung oil to it just to warm it up and add that yellow undertone to the wood. And honestly, it was enough. My goal was to just bring out that au naturel look into it, and that tung oil did it beautifully. Well, my friends, that was a serious DIY journey. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed following along the process and learning about the ups and the downs I faced to really do it myself. I'm not an expert, neither is my partner, but we just kind of dive into it, learn a little something along the way. And thank you to Bear for your inspiration. The color Cracked Pepper was part of the Bear 2022 Color Trends palette. I did link all 20 colors in my description if you want to go check it out. And a big thanks to Home Depot Canada for helping to shape the kitchen of my dreams. All the products and the tools I used in this episode to create the kitchen are listed in the description box. And you guys should let me know, what was your favorite part about this entire transformation? Was it the paint color? Was it the tabletop? Was it the DIYs or seeing the mood board? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, my friends, stay positive, stay creative, and keep on DIYing. Bye-bye.